Moving with kids is hard. Like, really hard. It really is a beast of a project, and little ones can really seem to get in the way and make it even harder than it needs to be, right? They're getting into the supplies, they're unpacking the box that you're right in the middle of packing, they're whining and complaining that they have to pack up all of their toys, or maybe they're just plain exhausted from watching you work so hard. I have got 7 pointers today for packing made easier. So I'm moving tomorrow. This is my last video at this house, actually, as I sit here realizing that is crazy. And sometime I'm sure I'll tell you more about this move, but for now, that's not why you're here. You want some good tips for packing with kids, so here you go. Number 1, buy extra supplies. Different sizes of boxes, permanent markers, packing tape, packing paper, those should all be in abundance. This is good advice for anybody, but especially those of us with young kids. It honestly will really pay off. Number 1, you are going to need more than you think, so it wastes a lot of our time and energy needing to go back to the store or order more and wait for them to be delivered. You just want to be able to keep going when you're in the zone and not have a supply issue. Number 2 reason, your kid is probably going to get into stuff. They might all of a sudden be unrolling the packing tape, or they might have gotten a hold of a marker, left the lid off, and now it's all dried out. Or you might happen to find them building a huge cardboard fort before you ever know what's going on. I have a story I will share later. Having extra supplies will really save you a lot of time and headache, so buy more than you think up front. Since we have plenty of supplies now, we are going to invite our child to help us. I know you might be cringing with this advice, but even with the stress of moving, I still stand behind this advice of letting your child help as much as you possibly can. It's a great learning experience for them, it helps them feel involved, and it will really pay off down the road that you've just established in this family we work hard together. Now, of course, you want to be smart about what you're kind of putting them in charge of, and depending on their age and capabilities, you'll just have to make sure it's a manageable level for them and for you, what it is that they're doing. But some ideas are letting your toddler draw on boxes with washable markers, letting them put their toys or their stuffed animals into a box when you're working on their room, letting your school-age child write the words on the boxes. It's great practice for handwriting or spelling, and it makes them feel very big and grown up. Letting your kids wrap up items with packing paper. This was a huge hit with my kids just yesterday. Sorry I didn't film that, but they had a great time and honestly did a really good job. Letting them carry empty boxes into the house when you're ready to use them, or carrying lightly packed boxes back out to the garage or wherever it is that you're storing them to be packed. Number 3 is to start and finish one box at a time. You know how easy it is to be bouncing all around your house while you're packing, or getting a box mostly full, but then wondering, well, what could I use, what could fit in this top section, because I don't want to close it when it's not totally full, but this room's kind of done. It's a huge whole thing, right? So then the box just ends up open, mostly packed, but just sitting there. We want to avoid this at all costs. This is just an invitation for your kid to come, walk up to this box, and find who knows what kind of treasures, right? Get into everything, pull it out, and there is nothing more frustrating than a box getting unpacked once you've already packed it. So we can avoid this altogether by just packing the box in one sitting, finishing it up in one sitting. That might mean that some boxes aren't all the way full, or that might mean some boxes aren't perfectly categorized. We are going to choose to be okay with that, knowing that it's saving us a huge nightmare of our work being undone and it just being way more effort and work than it really needed to be. Number 4 is to buy some fun packing supplies. This is, of course, going above and beyond. Like, you don't have to do this, but it really might pay off, especially if your kid is having a hard time with the move. If they're feeling really sad or they're really struggling to get on board, this might be the right thing to try. So we would really like to make this whole thing a positive experience, right? And for it to actually be enjoyable as much as it possibly can be for our kid and for us. So it is going to be a huge benefit to try to make it fun any way you can. So maybe you get some like fun glittering markers, or maybe you get them some stickers that they can put on the boxes. Maybe even some patterned or colored duct tape. You could use those as labels, and they're in charge of cutting the duct tape and sticking it on the box, and then that's where you can write stuff. Just any way that we can get our kid excited about helping us pack and that we're actually moving, that's a win. So let's say our kid is really having a hard time, or let's say we have a toddler that just won't cooperate or just will not stay out of our way, so we can't get anything done. Number 5 is to give them their own box. So one single box, maybe like tape up the bottom so it's built, and give them total control over that one box. Let them play with it. Give them totally free reign to do whatever that they want with it. They can take some scissors to it, right, and go crazy. They can draw all over it. They could sit inside and then color inside. They could pretend it's a vehicle or a boat or a castle or a dragon or a Millennium Falcon, and they could kind of, accessorize it so it looks like that. They could fill it up with stuff and then dump it out. Just try to give them complete control over this one box, and hopefully it will keep them busy for quite a while. You may need to take a couple extra minutes at the very beginning to just pause your packing and really use your imagination and get them really into it. And that is a good investment for the next hour or even 2 hours or maybe even all day that they will be busy now. Number 6 is to let go of control. Why does it feel like this one thing comes up in every single one of my videos about parenting? Probably because it is so crucial to our happiness. I'm telling you, it really is. Moving is no exception. And this has already been a common thread throughout this video. The more we let go of control, the happier all of us are going to be. So trust me, all right? Now trust me, for real. I know there is a fine line between letting our kids have free reign and monitoring what they're doing and having rules. So I told you I had a story a couple weeks ago. Obviously, I know, moving is on the horizon. My sister had just moved, so she had a bunch of boxes. She brought them. I had all these boxes, and my kids were actually gone when I got the boxes, so I brought them up to my attic, and they were just sitting there, like waiting for us to be ready to pack. And somehow my kids, when they got back home, sensed their presence because when I found them all, within hours, they were in full construction mode, okay? So they were building a masterpiece with every single box. So I walked into this. I knew I wanted to choose my words carefully, right? They were all happy. They were working together. They were being kind and practicing some serious teamwork. And I really didn't want to squash their spirits, right? But I also knew that a brief reminder about asking permission was definitely in order. So I said something like, "Wow, I can tell you're working so hard on that. I am really happy you're getting along and having fun. Next time I really need you to ask permission before you use something that's not yours, okay?" So we're letting go of control by letting our kid have some of the supplies, right? We're letting go of control by letting them write or draw on boxes. Or we're letting go of control by letting them help us pack some of the boxes or tape some of the boxes. So things are not going to be perfect, right? We are just accepting that, and we're letting go a little bit of control to just know a happy family is going to make this move more successful. So maybe by now you're ready to throw in the towel and truly feel like you cannot let your kid help with this, right? This is just one of those things. You do not have the patience for it. So let me reassure you, that is totally okay. The way you're feeling is totally valid, and it's totally okay to feel that way. Honor and recognize your limits and be strategic about how you're going to handle that. So tip number 7 is to use your kid-free pockets of time that I talk so much about. Utilize baby and toddler naps or quiet time in the afternoon, bedtime, any time that you are kid-free. That's going to be your packing time. You might want to unwind. You might want to do other things. If you're choosing to not pack with your kid, you've got to do it during those kid-free pockets. So at least focus on things that you for sure don't want them to get into, right? Maybe fragile things, valuable things, huge mess-making potential things. Reserve those times for those kid-free pockets. anything that's usually baby proofed, all of that stuff. If it's just too overwhelming to you, maybe you're going to arrange some extra babysitters. Maybe you're going to ask a neighbor to watch your kids for you. Perhaps you could do a play date at someone else's house and just ask them to play and hang out. Whatever you need to do to increase your number of times that you're without your kids during this packing stage. You probably have some people offering to help you move. Maybe you tell them, it would actually be really helpful for you to watch my kids tomorrow afternoon or whenever, okay? So use those kid-free pockets. If people are offering to help you, let them take your kids for you so that you can get some packing done. So my last bonus tip that I just came up with on the fly is to make one bag or box like the moving day box. So as you're packing things up, you're of course at some point going to need to be packing up all of your kids' toys, their coloring books, whatever they are usually busy with. You want to save some things out to have accessible throughout the entire process because you don't want to have all of a sudden they have nothing to do. So if you want to go above and beyond, get a little new thing for each kid. So maybe a new sticker pad or a new coloring book, something that's extra special for moving day that, all of our stuff is still packed, but here's this awesome thing that you get to do, and that will keep them busy. Just give yourself some grace. Set yourself up for success by having a few things ready for entertaining them. Moving definitely makes it pretty high on the list of one of the most stressful times in life. It's a ton of work, it's really exhausting, and it's just really difficult to do with kids. So refer back to my video I did a couple weeks ago on parenting during stressful times. You might find that helpful. Packing is difficult on all of us, so just try to find ways to work as a team. You are doing amazing. Wish me luck on my big day tomorrow, and we'll see you next time.